Rummy back in a video. If you all enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're new here. And if you are new here, please consider checking out my second channel, RamiXZ, where I post discussion videos on Naruto, One Piece, and things of the like. Not only that, but I do Naruto what-ifs, just like I do on this channel, just other Naruto what-ifs that I, well, don't think can make the cut, if you will. But with that being said, hope you guys all enjoy. Comment down below your thoughts and feelings about the video, and we can now get into the recap. In the last part, we basically had a fight begin with Gaara, but I do want to talk about a little of what happened leading up to that fight. Basically, we got Naruto in the Forest of Death, and what was happening there was he had the fight with Orochimaru. After that, he passed Gaara, basically, right as Gaara was coming through. Naruto actually got first, and so Gaara was very angry, and a fight ensued. Naruto then told Sasuke and Sakura to keep going and report to the Hokage, or Hiruzen, these words: Orochimaru has been defeated. As to him, Hiruzen being his former sensei, Jiraiya's, master, he should know exactly who Orochimaru is because Jiraiya's teammate was Orochimaru. They made up the three Sannin. And even if he didn't, he should know Orochimaru's name. Anyhow, they would then rush to the Hokage office / tower, whatever you want to call it, as they would to brief Hiruzen on what happened, adding a bit more detail and how Naruto sacrificed himself for his team and things of the sort, if you will. And this would also make Hiruzen have a better understanding of Naruto's skill, but I'll talk about that later on, to say the least. Now, Gaara and Naruto's fight will begin, and it shall. Naruto would rush towards Gaara as they would clash, sword to sand. Naruto would realize that this sand was no ordinary sand, as he would ask Gaara, "What is this sand?" Gaara would not speak, only creating more and more and more. Naruto would look to the source of the sand, as it would it was from the gorge on his back. Or whatever you want to call it. Backpack? Not really, but gorge, yes. Naruto would then realize that it was basically coming out of the gorge, and maybe if he destroyed it, then there'd be no sand. Of course, this is not the case. He can, quote-unquote, create endless amounts of sand. At least with Shukaku we can. But with that being said, Naruto would then try to destroy the gourd, or Gorja, and he would. Basically, it would be destroyed, but it would reform. As we know, Gaara can actually turn this gorge into sand and out of sand upon will, like he did versus Rock Lee when he was falling down. He used the sand within the gorge to basically, coat his falling so that he didn't, break his back. But with that out of the way, we would then see Naruto and Gaara clash yet again. This time, Naruto would ask why Gaara is attacking him, why he's so hellbent on beating him. Gaara just couldn't help but attack Naruto. He didn't have the same eyes as the boy you saw earlier, Sasuke Uchiha, but he didn't have the same eyes as he himself either. But he was so powerful. Gaara would speak a few words. Not many, but a few. Those who are weak live in this world, and those who are, strong survive. Those are the laws of the world, don't you think? Yes, I do think that is right. I've been on many missions where I've experienced such things. Naruto would then think of many things, like when he was weak. And here we would get a flashback to a certain mission Naruto was sent on. Naruto Uzumaki would rush to the Hokage Tower, wishing for a mission from Hiruzen. Hiruzen, seeing Naruto doing so many missions, made him think back on Minato and how quickly he progressed through the ninja system. Minato had also left behind a son, this son being Naruto, and Hiruzen knew that, of course. So why not let him on a strong mission? Why not give him a mission of high importance? He had completed even some B-rank missions, so this A-rank shouldn't be too hard for him, especially if he had a squad, right? Naruto would be sent on this A-rank mission by Hiruzen, as he would be accompanied by a few other people, people of the Jonin and Chunin class, and one other Genin. Now, they would continue on their way, or path, if you will, as they would eventually stumble into the territory of the Mizukage, or the Hidden Mist Village. This village was an interesting one, to say the least, but it was thriving, at least from above. What really went on in the streets below Well, that was a mystery to them. What would they find in this village? Would they find peace and tranquility, or would they find death and hidden meanings, if you will? This mission was to survey the Mist Village. Supposedly, there were rumors of things like secret weapons being made by the Mist Village. And this could be the equivalent to, for example, Russia or China, heck, even my own country, Canada, making secret weapons. They just want to know what's going on, you know what I mean? That's what the Leaf wants to figure out, what's going on, right? Same thing with Japan, you get my point. Now, this would take place as Naruto would basically just, survey the village. He would walk around, trying to get intel, asking if anybody knows about, like, the military system. Of course, he actually did not wear his headband. He wore a mist headband, as eventually him and his group of 5 ninja would get together. Now, once they were together, they would start to walk as a group, if you will, a dynamic squad, if you will. As they would continue to traverse the village, they would eventually run into what appeared to be a young man. This young man was picking up a toy of a person below, as he would give the toy to the little girl. This little girl would say, "Thank you, Mizukage," as this would send shivers down each of their spines. They had realized that they had just, encountered the Mizukage of the Mist Village. The Mizukage's face would turn to a frown as he looked at the people in front of him. "You people aren't from my village," he would ask, as he would wonder, who are they? Would you like to introduce yourselves? Maybe take off the headband that isn't yours? And those clothes. They're from my village, not yours. So, what village are you from? Naruto's eyes would shake. No, his whole body would shake at just the words of Yagura, demanding something from him. If he were to say no, that would be a form of treason, wouldn't it? To defy your own Kage, the person in charge of your village, your protector even. So, he would do so, taking off his mist armor and just revealing a normal shirt and some normal pants, as it would be the same for all the other ninja. Yager would then laugh. Well, my apologies. I suppose I just stumbled across you guys trying to play ninja. Yager would then walk right past them, as Yager would spike his chakra, only for a moment. And the slightest of moments at that. As both Naruto and each of the ninja there would directly look at the point of where the chakra was coming from, Yagura's fist. Naruto and his squad would stare at that fist that Yagura had, as Yagura would look back at them, smiling. So you're invaders. This word, this discovery of Yagura's in general, made Naruto know that he could no longer, be in disguise of sort. If he were to, try to plead with this man who they call Yagura the Tyrant, did he really think he can escape? Can he really escape? Anyhow, Naruto would then continue to, talk to Yagura, as he would basically say that he can't do that, putting back on the mist armor that he had on before. So you're not playing ninja, but you define me as a Kage. Do you know who I am? Of course I know who you are. They call you, at least where I'm from, Tyrant. Yagura Karatachi. Oh, they do. Now where are you from? You'll find out soon. Naruto would then unsheath his blade as he would look at the Jonin sensei, who was supposed to be like the squad leader, as the Jonin sensei would sweat a little. Naruto is not supposed to engage at all with any Kage level figure. Not to say that Naruto isn't Kage level right now, but yeah. Also, this took place when Naruto was about 11 years old, so the year after this, or like basically a few months after this, he came back to the village, and that's when he started training with Jiraiya. Anyhow, Naruto would then fight Yagura, as Yagura's fist would be able to clash with Naruto's sword, which was covered with both his chakra and wind style, / wind release, if you will. Naruto would then realize how powerful this man was. With a single fist, he was able to hold off his sword. Yagura's sword would then expand, or I guess you could say his fist. In a way, your sword is just an extension of your hand. That's why I made that connection. But yes, he would expand his hand, not his sword, if you will. Now, this would basically mean that his hand was open, as the sword would go into his hand, but it wouldn't cut. Naruto tried so hard to cut and push more force into it, but it wouldn't move. It was coated with the chakra of the Biju within Yagura. Yagura would then grab the sword, as he would then crush it. A piece of the blade would fall to the ground, crumbling from Yagura's fingers as he would look at Naruto. There stood Yagura Karatachi, the Mizukage of the village. Something Naruto had never seen before. He had not only been caught, pushed back, but also his weapon was devastated, destroyed, dismantled, all of the above. Naruto would then step back, as he would realize that if he were to ever want to accomplish his dreams of making all villages united, heck, even just becoming Hokage, then he would need to live. He would need to beat Yagura. Naruto would put his hands in a jutsu-like manner. Yagura would watch in disbelief that this child, who looked no older than 9, at least to Yagura, was not fearless. Even though he was faced with a Kage, somebody much above him in stature, and he knew so. He was ready. He was ready to risk it all for whatever he believed in, and this would touch Yagura, reminding him of his younger self, ready to become Hokage, eager for the job. Yagura would smile, as he would ask if Naruto was ready. Of course, he doesn't know his name, but he would just ask if you're ready, basically. As Naruto would open his eyes were no longer the bluish color they were, normally at least. They were now a red, vermilion, slit-like color. Yagura's eyes would widen. Is that? He thought to himself, no, it can't be. They would never send their Jinchuriki to enemy territory, to say the least. Which, at least he thought was a dumb move. Could this really be him? Eventually, the Kyuubi chakra would spread all throughout Naruto's body, as he knew that this was the Jinchuriki. But was it the Leaf Villages? He wasn't exactly certain. He didn't know exactly who had the tailed beast. Or was this from the cloud, since they did have 2 Jinchuriki? Maybe the stone? Would any other village dare? Maybe. Just maybe it was the Leaf Villages, this Kyuubi chakra, or just, well, since he doesn't know what the Kyuubi chakra is, this, Biju chakra is so powerful. Isobu, the tailed beast who's within Yagura, if you didn't know, Isobu is the 3 tails. With that being said, Isobu would tell Yagura that this is indeed the 9 tails, as Yagura would understand. I see. So they really sent their Jinchuriki all the way out here. They have some big guts, don't you think? Yes, I do, Isobu would say. But be careful. Kurama's never been the kind to let the other tailed beast bully him. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Maybe you might get defeated. Oh, me? So you're saying I should be careful, Isobu? Exactly, Yagura. Thank you. Now, Yagura would immediately activate his defenses, as Naruto would go for a punch, and Yagura would lay down his staff, as Naruto would basically punch himself, clashing. If you don't know, Yagura is a staff that can basically imitate anything. It's been shown to be able to do it with a KCM Naruto, so it's very powerful. It works on powerful opponents as well, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. And Naruto was using a Rasengan, so yeah, and it was able to reflect the Rasengan back at him, so they just clashed. But with that being said, Naruto would continue to try to hit Yagura, each time being blocked or mirrored. This would continue, as eventually other ninja would show up on the scene, as there were 7 ninja who would show up. 7 very, very special ninja. These ninja, if, proven, and if worthy enough, would become the 7 ninja swordsmen. the Mist's defense, if you will. As you may know, the 7 Ninja Swordsman is the Mist's greatest line of defense, capable of defeating most threats, except for Guy or Dai, because they did get defeated by Dai. But with that being said, that's out of the way. And these ninja would basically just decimate Naruto with Yagura and Naruto's squad. So Naruto's squad would actually all be killed. Yagura keeping Naruto alive because he's, well, you know, a Jinchuriki. Maybe he could use him as a bargaining chip, you know what I mean? Or just, you know, take the Jinchuriki for himself. As he would decide to test Naruto's will, because throughout their fights, Naruto had never given up. He had never been, you know, he had never feared what could happen if he lost. He had never, you know, stopped to think, stopped to just think about who he's fighting and, you know, get scared. And Yagura really liked that about Naruto. So, he wanted to test his will. How strong was he? How powerful was he within? Naruto would be thrown into a prison cell, or a jail cell of sorts. It was an empty room. As Yagura would smirk, "Your name is what? Naruto? Am I right or am I right? You may go by a different name, so I'm sorry if I call you by the wrong name. But a scout of mine had received something from me. These great Sharingan. I can't wait to use them. They say that if you're not an Uchiha and use a Sharingan, it takes a lot of your chakra. Well, I'll test that theory, but I have my Bijuu, so I guess I'll be alright." The Sharingan. Naruto knew the importance of the Sharingan at this point, as Kakashi was literally a sensei for a few years. So yeah, as Naruto wouldn't want Yagura to get the Sharingan into his hands. This is actually kind of how he got the Sharingan. Anyhow, Yagura would then continue. "I can't wait to use these. No, I can't wait to obtain them. Make them mine. I'll wait a little, though. Now, do you like them? Would you like one?" Naruto would look down. "I don't want an eye that doesn't belong to me." "Okay, well then I'll just take them. The power that these things have." "I know," Naruto would say, as he would cough up some blood. It had seemed that Yagura had really damaged him during their fight, and some of the ninja swordsmen, or at least the people who could be the ninja swordsmen, were actually kind of going a bit hard on Naruto, and he hadn't gotten a chance to heal, so he would cough up some blood. Yagura would smirk. "Sometimes it's easier to just die, don't you think?" Naruto would, well, widen his eyes as he would look at Yagura. "What are you suggesting?" "Right now, there are so many things that you'll miss out on, because you'll never see the light of day." "You think so? You don't think I'll get out of here?" "Nope, I think you'll stay here for a very long time, if not for the rest of your life." Naruto would grit his teeth. 5 more months would pass. As I mentioned, a few months had actually passed before he actually started training with Jiraiya, and these were the few months. 5 months. Naruto and Yagura had developed a relationship, though Naruto could barely talk at this point. Malnourished, and only fed about 1 slice of bread each day, he was, well, barely able to live. Naruto's will had been crushed, defeated, and conquered. Naruto, heck, at this point, would do anything to get free. If that even meant allying with the Mist Village, he would most likely do it in a state of trouble in, well, his situation, to say the least. Naruto would then ask, why? Every single day, Yagura had asked him to join his village, to help him do everything, basically. And he wondered why, as he would ask. Yagura would smirk. "We're one and the same, treated harshly, poorly, mistreated. But we continue to survive, because that's all we can do. I reckon as a kid you were bullied, maybe beaten by bullies, laughed at, called names. I'm sure of it. All of us Jinchuriki have that treatment. Honestly, I wish circumstances could be different, because if they were, then..." Naruto grit his teeth. Are you okay? Yagura would ask. Naruto's teeth would enlarge, as his mouth would as well. His whiskers would become more defined, and a spiraling red chakra would appear. Yagura would back away from Naruto's cell, as he usually stayed pretty close to it, as they would have, well, often in daily chats. Yagura would then unsheath a sword he kept on him at all times, as he would ask what's wrong. Yagura would tell Naruto that he's going to have to kill him. Well, he planned on it anyways today, since Naruto doesn't want to join him, as he will basically just take the Jinchuriki, the Nine Tails, and give it to somebody else in his village, which will increase their military power. And he basically explained this as Naruto would continue to get angrier and angrier. This anger then bubbled up as Naruto would ask why. Why what? Yagura would ask. Naruto would ask, why haven't you gotten those Sharingan? Yagura would smirk. Wait, do you want them now? I'd be happy to give them to you if you join the Mist Village. Naruto would shake his head. No, rather, I'll take them back. Well, unless you actually use the Sharingan itself, we'll catch up with you and take them back. If that's the distance I have to go. Having to use the dojutsu of another clan. The power of another species, race, whatever you want to call them. That being the Uchiha. Then I will. Do you really think that you can break out of those shackles? They're made to seal chakra. Who said anything about chakra? Naruto's limbs would increase in size, almost as if he, well, had been training for years. He looked almost like a bodybuilder, if you will. His muscles, at least, not his actual stature or body. Nothing like it. And it seemed that he had been pumping all of his strength into this one move, technique, escape. The shackles would tear, as a beast like none other would appear in front of Yagura. One with revenge, hatred, and desperation in his mind. Dreams, will of steel, and everything alike. Naruto would grab the Sharingan, planting them into his eyes and running. Though the treatment hadn't been, well, done properly, as it hadn't been in a safe place to say the least. He had been able to obtain the Sharingan successfully, and managed to close the eyes, due to his heritage, if only a little bit. Naruto would continue escaping from the Mist Village, as the men that Yagura had would not catch him. He would defeat them soundly, with his new strength and acquired abilities. These Sharingan were in the 3 Tomoe stage, so you can, well, do your own math on how powerful Naruto was, and how he was getting accumulated to the Sharingan's abilities, and its mass abilities at that. Naruto would then continue, eventually getting past the Mist Village, far out. He would then rest up a little, eventually traveling back to the Leaf Village, and that's where he would debrief Hiruzen and Kakashi on what happened. Or what had happened, my bad. After that, well, Naruto would be trained by Jiraiya. Naruto would remember this all fondly as he continued to fight Gaara, asking Gaara if he truly has a will to fight. Gaara would be puzzled at this, as Naruto would yell out, "Fine. You don't?" Naruto's blades would both spin, almost like what he did to Orochimaru. "I won't kill you, but I must ask, if I were to slice you in two, would you die? I need to know this. I don't want to provoke any war." "Yes, I would not die." "Okay. Well, you didn't answer I thought you would, but alright. Now, Half Moon Glaive, Destroyer's Wrath." Naruto's blade would be Kyuubi chakra. Naruto had amassed an established amount of chakra, to say the least, or lack of a better word. This chakra would then form into a powerful blade, which Naruto would use to slice Gaara. Of course, like Gaara had said, he would not break apart. Heck, he wouldn't even die. This would merely cut him in half, but he would be able to reform. Naruto would smirk. I knew that would happen. I was testing a theory of mine. You see, Naruto had basically realized that Gaara had some sort of super defense, if you will. it allowed him to, well, recover from an attack that Naruto had sent at him in the previous part, which, if you haven't watched that part, what are you doing? Go check it out. But with that being said, so that it happened, and Naruto, well, had realized this, so he was able to capitalize on it. He knew that after that defense is down, there was some sort of cooldown period where he can't just, well, have an ultimate defense forever. It was, what he's basically talking about is the, sand armor. Now, Naruto would then put away his blade, and as he did, Gar would fall to the ground. A cut going from his shoulder down to his, well, I guess you could say like spleen area, as he would fall to the ground. Temari and Kankuro would watch Naruto in awe. Naruto would walk away calmly, as if nothing had transpired. Temari and Kankuro realized that the leaf was not just all talk, they had powerhouses. Now, he was defeated just like Orochimaru. How powerful have I truly become? Naruto thought to himself. Maybe I can become the Hokage in a few years from now. Both Kankuro and Temari looked surprised at what Naruto had said. Did he really defeat Orochimaru? Temari thought to himself. No way, this kid, Kankuro thought, as Naruto would look back, seeing their surprised faces. Are you surprised at what I did to your younger brother, I presume? Or when I said Orochimaru, because I did realize that your faces did change when I said that. Either you know him or you're allied with him. Either way, I don't care. And with that being said, this has been What If Naruto, well, had a Sharingan. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to like the video for likes. So this is just in the general. Subscribe if you're new here, especially if you're new here. Check my second channel down below, Rami XZ, and yeah, Rami X. Oh.